Well, it's the day after Thanksgiving. IRL, not in the game. That would be pretty late for Thanksgiving. December 30th. But yeah, day after Thanksgiving, I am incredibly stuffed because I had leftovers for breakfast. Don't judge me. And yeah, today is the second day of the trial. I am just as lost now as I was at the beginning of the first day of trial because I don't know how things are going to go. Well, aside from the fact that Acro is, the eyewitness now, so yeah, whatever. Let's see what's going to happen. Good morning, Max. Oh, yeah. Good morning, sweeties. You don't seem like your usual sparkling self today. I'm always like this before I go in front of an audience. I'm working up to it. Tee-hee. Oh my god. Don't get nervous, Maxie. Here, have a glass of milk. Regina! How fabulous, my sweetie pie princess. You came to watch my performance today. Of course I did. Mo told me that I should come and watch this. Mo said that? So, what kind of performance will you put on today? Let me guess, you'll fly at the end? It's not that kind of show. Isn't that right, my sweeties? Huh? I think my sweetie pie princess doesn't. Yeah, she doesn't seem to realize what's going on. Well, Max, it looks like it's time to raise the curtain. I'll see you later. Today I'm just a member of the audience. Fabulous. Enjoy yourself out there. Good luck, Max. You're the best. Regina's different, don't you think, Nick? Nah, she seems just as stupid as before. Top of the morning to you? Really, Mo? Okay, everybody, let's get ready to get stuck in legal limbo. How low can you go? God, I always forget Max's voice every time I know it's sort of like this, and he's from Brooklyn. There we go. It came back. Mo. Top of the morning to you, governor? Top of the morning. That's the ticket. Attacking the day starts with energy in the morning. The early bird gets the worm, but then again, worms lack higher brain function. Here, Max, I bought you a present. Have some milk. Why is everybody giving him milk? Oh my! Thank you. Oh, I thought he was about to get ready for, the obvious don't cry over spilt milk. But alright. So, how are you today, Wright? Well, I've got the feeling that today I'm going to face off against the real criminal. Alright then. You mean Acro? Alright then. I kind of suspected him too, but damn, alright, let's just put it all out there. Huh? You think he did it? Be careful. He's used to putting his life on the line, literally. He's got guts to spare. If all I've got to worry about is how thin the tightrope is, I'm used to it already. It just means that I won't be able to press him like I can other witnesses. What are you going to do then, Nick? I guess today we'll just have to do without our usual psychological warfare. Today, we rely on evidence. It's the only way we'll get past Acro and to the truth. What evidence? Like, literally, what evidence? Okay, you're right, but it's gonna be tough. Anyways, I want you to make sure that Regina sees it all today. It's important. Then she'll finally have to deal with the reality of what happened to her father. You want us to make sure Regina watches? Yes, that's why I brought her here to court today. What's that supposed to mean? She needs to know that when people die, they don't just become stars. I may be an old-fashioned clown, but I don't believe in people becoming stars. What the hell is going on here? What? I thought clowns are supposed to bring joy in people's lives, not the crippling despair of reality. Holy shit. Alright. What is going on with this game? Well, no, I mean, the first two trials were cool, but this is like, what? The court is now in session in the trial of Maximilian Galactica. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Very well. Miss Von Karma, you may proceed with your case. The prosecution would like to revise its previous theory of events. What's the meaning of this? We have discovered a new witness, or shall I say, a new eyewitness. One that saw Maximilian Galactica fly off from the scene of the crime. Order! Order! I had a feeling something like this would come up. Due to this revision, we are now prepared to explain how the defendant flew that night. An explanation the prosecution will present if the need so arises. In fact, my detective stayed up all night creating a mock-up of the scene, on my orders. Poor Gumshoe. Very well. Please call your witness to the stand. Time to get to work. Or shall I say, time to walk the courtroom tightrope. Oh! That wasn't good. His wheelchair, though. Oh my god, I want to see a back sprite so bad. Name and occupation. It's his freaking name. I can't. Ken Dingling. But everyone calls me Acro. I'm employed as an acrobat at the very big circus. Where were you on the night of the crime? I was in my room that night. If you look at the map, you will see the witnesses... Oh, if you look at the map, you will see the witness's room is near the crime scene. My room is on the 3rd floor. The crime scene is below the window. The night of the crime, the witness saw something quite shocking. Would you tell us what you witnessed? Okay. What you witnessed? It was just after 10 p.m., and I was resting in my bed. Around that time, I heard a large thump noise from outside the window. Then a few moments later, I saw someone flying right by my window. It was Max Galactica. I only saw him from behind, but that's what it looked like. To be honest, when I saw that, I thought I was dreaming. This witness's testimony matches up exactly with that of the clown. If that's the case, there is very little the prosecution need add. All that's left is to explain how the defendant disappeared into the sky that night. Before we get that far, I'd like to cross-examine the witness. A foolish choice by a foolish fool who wishes to feel the foolish sadness of a sad fool. A man must know the proper timing for things, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Just like your old friend, Mr. Miles Edgeworth, did. Mr. Wright, you have a problem with the witness's testimony. In the words of Miss Von Karma, may I quote yesterday's proceedings? There's no way that actually happened. Very well, you may proceed with your cross-examination. Alright, what you witnessed. I didn't see too many holes here. God, it feels nice to be back to somebody I can just normally press. But, you know, after 10 p.m. around that time, I heard a large thump noise from outside the window. A few moments later, I saw someone flying right by my window. It was Max Galactica. Only saw him from behind, but that's who it looked like. The light in your room was turned off then, right? That's true. I was going to bed after all. So with the lights off, you were still able to clearly see a human fly by your window. The safety lights lit things up enough for me to see. But honestly, there was only enough light for me to see the silhouette outside my window. It was the person's back, so I couldn't see the white roses on the front. Did you see any of the other symbols? I clearly saw the silk hat, as well as the cloak wrapped around his body. I'm convinced that the person I saw was Max Galactica. The more I press him, the less results I seem to get. But maybe there was something fishy with his latest bit of testimony? God, I wish you could look up the transcript like you can with Danganronpa. I'm gonna lay off that. Until I can find a clear contradiction, I better not overdo it, right? Because thinking back on it, I don't think he said anything off. The safety... His lights were off, but the safety lights were on. He couldn't see roses, but he was able to see the cloak and the hat. I'm gonna keep that in mind. Alright, but anyway, let's press on everything else. You said that you were resting in bed. One would thus assume that you turned the lights off in your room, correct? That's correct. Okay. But there are safety lights around the outside of the lodging house. It's so bright, sometimes it can make it hard to sleep. If that's the case, wouldn't it be a good idea to close some curtains? What? I never really thought of that. I guess that means I'm off to buy some curtains. Haha, sometimes I do make myself useful in these chambers. The witness will proceed with his testimony. Okay. Large thump. Hold it. Your room is on the 3rd floor, right? Yes. And you said that you were resting in bed. That is correct. But you were still able to hear a sound from outside. I was indeed. Pressing Acro doesn't seem to get results. Maybe something was contradictory with what he just said? No, there is nothing wrong. Okay, alright, we gotta be careful on this one. Alright then, yeah, I'm just pressing on everything, trying to see if I can get a little bit. Just a little. Are you sure it was a human being? It could have been a mannequin, or perhaps a large action figure. Well, setting aside the possibility of a mannequin, an action figure is plausible. You have no need to mince words with Mr. Phoenix Wright. Testify to the truth and only the truth, just as if we were there with you that night. I believe it was a human. Damn. I just strengthened his testimony. I wonder if Acro's statement jives with the facts. No, there's nothing wrong. Ooh, boy, this is scary. I know she's just waiting to call me out on some BS. To be honest, when I saw that, I thought I was dreaming. When did you start thinking that what you saw wasn't a dream?
Objection!
Oh, why are you trying to stop this now? That's not important. I believe that the prosecution has done a bit of maintenance on the witness's memory. Just to make sure, let's ask the witness. Ow! Objection! Sustained? Doesn't sustain... Oh, don't sustain that! Acro must be lying about things, huh? Of course he is. Now the challenge will be to expose his lies in court. Well, put the pedal to the metal, Nick. I don't know. I don't know! Alright, let me go through these again. Okay, wait, I do have an issue with this. Because, yeah, we've already established that just seeing the symbols isn't enough. It could have been anyone dressed up like him. Yeah, there is something a little fishy there. There is a huge contradiction with the testimony that was just given. If there's a contradiction, then prove it with evidence. She's right. Let's see some evidence. Do you have any evidence to support your claim of a contradiction? No, because don't we already have it established that... Can I just present, like, a theory? Okay, wait a minute. That's not gonna help. No. Oh my god, I think I know how everything was done. He used the bust. He had it on like a rope or something, dropped it down, hit him in the back of the head, then pulled it back up. That was the loud thump, and the fact that it's missing, and then somebody would see that, like if you looked outside and you saw like the bust just hanging out there. I guess, I don't know. I guess from far away you would think that was Max. I still don't know what to present here though, because I don't have anything. Because it was determined that we could say that anybody could have been wearing that, but I don't know. Or is it the fact that the hat was in our possession? Oh yeah, because the hat fell off, blah blah blah. Found at the crime scene. You claim to have seen the exact same thing Mo saw that night. Do you stand by that? What do you mean? The silk hat. What about the silk hat? I saw it on Max's head as he flew by my window. Well, you should have tried looking down out of your window that night. That would have been quite difficult considering the state that I'm in. Just looking outside of the window was a tough enough challenge for me. That's a shame, because you would have noticed the silk hat found on the scene. That's the ringmaster's hat, right? Afraid not. No matter how you look at it, this is Max's silk hat. Where are you going with this, Mr. Wright? Are you saying that Max has 2 silk hats? No. This is a handmade, one-of-a-kind model made only for Maximilian Galactica. Which means, Acro, that you've been fibbing on the stand. Alright, there's the back sprite. They lowered the desk for him. Okay. Order! Order!
Objection!
Like always, someone has to open their mouth before thinking. Are you okay, Nick? Well, I opened my big mouth and now I have to back it up. How about it, Mr. Wright? What would cause this witness to commit perjury in this court today? I don't think this was the case. I don't think he was dreaming. I mean, part of me thinks he is the culprit, but then with me thinking about the bust, because that would explain a heavy object and the fact that we couldn't find a weapon on the scene, not to mention it would explain the lack of footprints. And then, even if Acro saw it, like playing devil's advocate, let's say Acro really isn't the culprit and he looked out his window and he saw the thing go by. That's how he would, like, he would assume that it was Max, but okay, oh my god, I don't know. I don't know. It's gonna be either he's the real culprit or he has a grudge against Max. But I don't recall him saying much of anything negative about Max. I mean, he had the general stuff, but like, he didn't say it with the vitriol that, like, Ben would. So I'm gonna go and say he's the real culprit. Your Honor, on this occasion, the defense accuses Acro himself. On this occasion? Accuses Acro? What in the world are you accusing him of? Obviously, we accuse him of the murder of Mr. Russell Berry. Mr. Wright, are you serious? Deadly serious, Your Honor. Ha ha ha. I think your trips to the circus have served you well. You seem to remember how to try and grab at an audience's hearts and minds. Your Honor, don't allow yourself to be swayed by theatrics. Trying to wow the crowd with smoke and mirrors is the oldest bluff in the book. Really? If you don't believe me, just look at the witness. He's calm enough for it to almost be scary. Well, he is an acrobat, so I mean, you gotta be calm in the face. You gotta stay calm in the face of danger. Okay, this is funny. He is staying rather calm and collected. Mr. Dingley, do you have any response to the defense's accusation? Dangling, I can't. I don't really need to say a thing, do I? What do you mean? Everyone, take a good look at me. I can't even stand up by myself, let alone leave the lodging house. That's true. Understand that Mr. Wright is just trying to help his client. But to do this by accusing me of a murder of all things. See, even a sliver of common sense makes it clear the accusation is ludicrous. Wait, that should be sliver, not silver. Editor, you were slacking again. She's right. Way to pick on the disabled, you heartless, cruel man. Ableist! Phoenix is a poopy head. See that, Mr. Phoenix, right? If you're trying to drum up support from the peanut gallery, that's how you do it. I think that's enough of this little game. I've got a doctor's note to confirm that Acro's unable to stand under his own power. Maybe the defense is planning on making a claim to counter this as well? I can hear the defense now. Acro had an accomplice. What do you say about this, Mr. Wright? Did Acro have an accomplice? He could. He could. But they're going to ask me, like, okay, then who was it? And at least 3 people are coming to mind. At least 3. I'm going to play it safe. Now then, this must be when we get to hear the name of the mystery accomplice. Not this time, Von Karma. Why you looking so happy there, Phoenix? I don't like it when you're 2 steps ahead of me, because then that means I'm going to have to present stuff that I don't know what to do. What? You're not going to sucker me into this one. What are you blabbering about, Mr. Wright? There was no accomplice. Acro planned and committed this murder all by himself. Somebody's confident. Order! Order! What are you getting at? Way to keep them on their toes, Nick. Now I'm going to have to prove how it all fits together. I have to show how Acro murdered Russell Berry. Can you do it, Nick? Can you really do that? I know what I can't do. I can't stop now. Can't stop, won't stop. I don't even know how to stop. Take that, take that, take that. If I stop attacking, I'm doomed. Alright, then let's do it. Mr. Phoenix Wright. If this witness is the killer, then his eyewitness account is all lies, right? Mr. Wright, I'd like you to clear something up for me. When the crime was committed, exactly where was Mr. Dingley? He was in his room. He was obviously here the entire time. That's Acro's room? Pretty simple, eh? Acro wasn't able to leave the lodging house by himself. There's only one answer to that. Acro didn't leave his room to kill the ringmaster. Oh? She on the ropes? What? Are you nuts? What say you, Mr. Dingley? The bird speaks to him. It's an interesting theory. That's it? Considering that what you propose is impossible, yes, that's it. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. As the witness has stated, Your assertion is impossible. As he is in a wheelchair, there's no way he could go to the scene or be the killer. You've got a point. It seems you've forgotten once again, Mr. Phoenix Wright. The defendant was clearly spotted at the scene of the crime. That's true. No! He doesn't even... From that angle, you don't even see feet. And then even when he was pulled up, there were no footprints there. So it was just the cloak wrapped around the bust. Oh, shit. Alright, Mo said that he saw Max, didn't he? Yep, no footprints. Oh my god. But Maya, it's still impossible for humans to fly. Do you mind if I ask a question, Mr. Wright? What is it? I understand some of your logic. However, how do you think that I killed him? If I can't leave my room, I obviously couldn't wear Max's costume. How did he do it? That's the next course of this legal buffet. What? Be careful, Nick. If you mess up here... She's right. I can't mess up here. I've got to give this one some serious thought. I'm sure that Acro killed the ringmaster. And he killed the ringmaster while he was in his room. No doubt about it. Time to enlighten us as to how Mr. Dingling committed the crime, Mr. Wright. Let's play it safe. Let's not jump to the conclusion just yet. We can't present evidence now. I think we'll finally be graced with an explanation. Don't push it, Von Karma. What? You aren't gonna suck me in this time. I'm smart enough to know when I don't have the cards to play and my hand sucks right now. What do you mean, Mr. Wright? He means that everything he's said up until now has all been nonsense. It's true, right? If you can't establish proof of your murder theory, then it's nonsense. He's trying to fool us by playing some misdirection game. Ah, crap. I thought a repeat of last time was going to happen, but no. Looks like this isn't going to pass muster. Nick, gotta show them some evidence. Easier said than done. So what will it be, Mr. Wright? Want to present some evidence. Dang. Alright, so what did Mr. Dingling use to commit the crime? Alright, well, I guess we are just going to have to jump to that conclusion. What's that? A picture? It is indeed. The problem is with the item that's shown in the picture. The bust? It's quite a large bust. And because it is life-sized, it's also very, very heavy. Heavy? Heavy enough to guarantee a certain death. Especially if it was dropped from a third-story window. See, this is how Acro was able to kill the Ringmaster. With the force of gravity and Maximilian Galactica's ample bust. Ample bust. Order! Order! So you're saying the bust fell onto the Ringmaster? A rather simple crime. Even if you were stuck in a wheelchair, it would be incredibly easy to commit. How could you possibly wheel a wheelchair with something so heavy? It's impossible. Well, Acro's an acrobat. He should have more than enough upper body strength to carry something like the bust. Mr. Dingling, how do you respond to these charges? Well, Acro's at a loss for words. He should be. He knows that I'm getting close to the truth. Well, Acro. You can't run away. Ow. I would watch what I say if I were you, Mr. Phoenix Wright. What? Your Honor, the physical health of the witness is material to this case. I demand that we give proper testimony from the witness himself. Testimony, you say? Von Karma. She's just using this testimony as a ruse to stall for time. Wait, ruse is R-U-S-E as arouse to stall for time. Okay. There is absolutely no need for such testimony. The defense has its version of the murder. The prosecution has the right to respond. Defense's objection is overruled. Why can't he see things my way once in a while? Mr. Dingling, I'm sorry, but we need you to testify about your physical condition. If you have any doubts about your ability to testify, we can request expert testimony. The witness will have no problems. However, let's all be respectful towards him. Thank you. Arg, that woman will sink to any low to win a case. Why can't you just call him Mr. Acro? Why you gotta use his government name? It's too funny. I suppose I could have lifted something the size of that bust. I have a strong upper body from working as an acrobat, and only my legs were injured. However, lifting the bust and looking out of the window would have been impossible. There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. It makes it impossible for me to have known the location of the ringmaster's head. Thus, it would be unrealistic for me to drop the bust on him, don't you think? I have no doubts in regards to the witness's testimony. It was impossible for him to lift the bust and carry it over to the window. Not to mention that he could not have known the location of the ringmaster's head. A single false step would have led to even more severe injuries. Okay. That's what I was thinking. What's your opinion on the matter, Mr. Wright? I'd still like to proceed with my cross-examination. He is simply stalling. It's shameful, really. I can't let her get to me. I've got to focus. Alright. So, careful menu navigation here. No, that's not an exact location. Alright then. Let's press. Have you ever lifted up the bust before? No, I've never actually lifted it up with my own two hands. But I should get to it, don't you think? I can't let money outdo me on this. Money? That crazy monkey has lifted Max's bust before? Please continue with your testimony, Mr. Dingling. Oh my god. Did he look out the window and point to where he wanted money to throw it? So what have you been doing to keep in shape? Well, honestly, I've given up on training. I don't have any plans to return to the trapeze or the tightrope. You don't say. But, no offense, I'm not worried about losing to you in a race or anything. Neither am I, Mr. Phoenix Wright. I wouldn't lose either, slowpoke. I mean, Nick. Whoa, how did the discussion turn to me all of a sudden? I suppose you could say that I'm stronger than the average bear. Hey, boo-boo. Ever lifting the bus and looking out the window would have been impossible. And why is that? Because if I were to do that, I'd end up falling out of the window myself. I still haven't gotten much feeling back in my legs yet. So you couldn't have thrown that bust out of the window. No way I could have exerted that kind of force in my lower body. Hold it. How long do you think your recovery will take? You have to remember that the nerves were severed. I'm currently undergoing some extremely intensive rehabilitation. But it's still going to take a while before I'm back to 100%. Let me remind you of another very important point. If the witness was carrying the bust, he would not be able to see out below the window. Why do you say it would be impossible? Allow me to explain. You accept that if I was carrying the bust, I couldn't see out below the window. Thus, there is no way that I would know the location of the ringmaster's head. Well, I suppose you've got a point. Hey, Nick? Huh? What if you turn things around? If you think of it sort of like this. If he knew the location of the ringmaster's head, then he could drop the bust. It does make sense. What? If only I could prove somehow that Acro knew the location of the Ringmaster's head without looking down. I think I've already explained things sufficiently. Did he plant the box there? I don't even... If all you had to do was drop it, then it wouldn't have been a problem at all. If all I had to do was drop it. You're right, I could have done that. However, there is no way that I could score a direct hit on the Ringmaster's head. So that kind of makes your theory a bit pointless, doesn't it, Mr. Wright? Acro is strong enough to lift up the bust. The main problem is how he could have aimed for the Ringmaster's head. What if he used some kind of tool to aim for the Ringmaster? That's to take it, Nick. Show him what you've got. I have to be careful. I have to find something that fits perfectly with the case. I don't remember us finding any sort of tool. And maybe we overlooked something. Okay, let me see. Okay, one of two things. Either he had money there to sort of guide him, or the fact that he planted this box and knew that he would like be hunched over it, like trying to open it. Either or. I'm gonna take a chance. This is right. Okay. Acro. You didn't really need to lean out of the window, did you? What are you driving at, Mr. Wright? You already knew ahead of time where the Ringmaster's head was going to be. Quite precisely, I may add. Objection! You're silly hinting at things is pointless, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Enough stalling. How about you show us some evidence? But I did such a good job hinting. Yes. Hurry up and explain things, Mr. Wright. Maybe you should take a look at this. The key point here is the wooden box. The same wooden box that the victim was found hunched over? The same. The question is, who placed the wooden box here? Who? When Ben and company saw the Ringmaster, they didn't see him holding the box. Which means that this wooden box was already placed at the scene of the crime. I have to admit that your theory makes a lot of sense. The moment that the bust came falling down was exactly the same moment that the Ringmaster lifted up this wooden box. Which means that the answer to all these questions is now crystal clear. You mean, if the bust were to fall upon the point marked out by the wooden box, there'd be no way that it could miss the head of the victim. What? What? They're gonna have to slow down for me on this one. I don't quite get it. Really? Oh, but the point of the box... Oh, so what? He went by sound? Was it placed directly underneath his window? Oh yeah, okay, I guess that does make sense. So he waited to hear the sound and then like, okay, drop. I guess. Order! This is unbelievable! Finally. Some of these loose ends are starting to tie themselves up. Now I just gotta keep going. And there's only one way to go from here. Forward. So the next question I have is, who placed that wooden box at the scene? It was Mr. Dingling, of course. He connected it to a rope, and then all he had to do was lower it down. Ow. Allow me to whip some sense into you, Mr. Phoenix Wright. The Ringmaster's head could have been anywhere when he lifted the box. That's why the box is so specially made. It's Specially made? Indeed. It had the most peculiar feature. It was a 20-pound box. Okay, this isn't a feature of the box. Has to be the weight. The box has a remarkable weight. Weight? According to the court record, it weighs 20 pounds. Just to lift up this wooden box would have required... Oh, I see. One would have to squat down and lift it up with their body, wouldn't you say? It's only 20 pounds! I can lift 20 pounds in one hand! That's exactly what I was trying to point out. The box is also very large. The box also has carrying handles on either side, doesn't it? That is correct. To lift up the box, you'd have to squat down. Which means... and no matter who you are, your head would be in approximately the same place. Full. Does she even bother to listen to me anymore? I've heard what you've had to say. I must admit, I'm shocked at your imaginative skills. Did you drop it? Did you drop the bust onto the ringmaster? What are you talking about? Even if I wanted to do such a thing, I couldn't. What? Mr. Wright, do you recall the original location of this bust? Yeah? Of course I remember. It was on top of the table in the cafeteria. Then what happened to it? I'd like you to remember one important fact, Mr. Wright. I could not possibly leave the lodging house by myself. Ah, that means... Understand what I mean, don't you? I may very well have been able to drop the bust from my room. However, how would I have gotten the bust from the cafeteria to my room? You see, Mr. Phoenix Wright, explain that. Don't forget, you said there was no accomplice. Oh, shit. Tell us exactly how the witness would have carried the bust from the cafeteria. Yep, we definitely have a problem here. But this is no place to get perplexed. I've got to get my wits about me and prove how things happened once and for all. Alright, Mr. Wright, let's hear your explanation. How did the witness get the bust from the cafeteria back to his room? I don't know if this will count as an accomplice, but Homeboy did say that Money was able to lift the bust. So, a monkey? Everyone knows Money. He loves shiny objects of any size. For instance, he stole the ventriloquist's ring. So, are you saying the witness had a monkey steal the bust? Of course he didn't order the monkey to steal it. The monkey stole it on his own, and then brought it back home. Home? Money lives in Acro's room. Acro's room? But the bust was bronze, wasn't it? Bronze isn't all that shiny. Maybe you should put the whip down sometimes and read the court record. My, those are some very nice cards he's holding. Yes, and they're made of platinum. Okay, well that's new to me, which is very shiny. Also, I'm just getting, like, notifications on my phone. Alright, then. Acro. Money is a strong monkey, right? It'd be easy for him to bring the bust back to your room. If he wasn't able to handle that himself, I'd be on the market for a new roommate. Order! Order! I said order! Miss Von Karma, where's the bust in question at this moment? I don't know. We're searching for it as we speak. This is a strange turn of events. If that monkey did not steal the bust, then what happens to this case? Well, in that event, something else must have been used as the murder weapon. Well, Or maybe this bust was the murder weapon, but it was used by accident. That's possible. Maybe Acro saw Money's mountain of stolen goods and thought to use one of them. Anyways, I think we've more than proven one critical fact. Namely, that it was entirely possible that Acro was the murderer. Moron! What happened to Fool? Mr. Wright's argument was so circular, I'm still a bit dizzy. However, his argument does hold water. There's no denying that. Ow! Don't seem so flamboozled, especially by this fraud of an attorney. Fraud? You've forgotten the absolute most important thing, Mr. Phoenix Wright. And what is that? You should know. You forgot that your fraud of a magical client was spotted at the scene of the crime. Ah! There is no reason to doubt the clown's testimony. That's true. How do you respond to that, Mr. Wright? Nick, don't let her beat you now. I won't. This is my chance to turn this trial around. When the murder occurred, there were two people at the scene of the crime. One was the victim, Russell Berry, and the other was the murderer himself. Answer this and only this, Mr. Phoenix Wright. The clown saw the murderer. Who was it then? We're going for it. He saw Max's Ow! I asked who was the other person Mo saw on the scene. That evidence has nothing to do with the question. Au contraire, mon frère. It does indeed have something to do with the question. Mo said that he saw Max's silhouette. But he didn't actually see the man himself. It wasn't a human being he saw. How is that possible? It's simple, really. What Mo actually saw that night was Max's bust. What are you talking about? Have you tried using your brain at all in this case? The silhouette he saw just happened to be wearing a cloak. There's no reason why you couldn't attach a cloak to the bust. Or a cloak like that could easily get snagged on the bust if they came into contact. Idiot! Who in their right mind would put a cloak on a bust? It doesn't matter who put it on the bust. Just wait a minute now, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bust? That question is of the utmost importance to this case, don't you agree? Dope, he caught me. So let's have it, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bust? This is a dumb one. And I want to do a safety save, but I can't. Because he just said himself, like, I mean, it could get snagged. Screw it. I wonder, Mr. Yeah, okay, that's wrong. Because, I mean, like they said, when it got snagged and he's pulling it back up, but... Then the defendant wear his cloak at the entire time is practice. Wait, what? How did this person get a hold of the cloak? Well, furthermore, how would this person have gotten the cloak onto the bust, I wonder? Because this person was not spotted at the scene. Alright then. So nice about telling me I'm wrong, it hurts even more. Hey, Ms. Von Karma, carrot and whip approach. Alright. Then who put the cloak on the bust? I mean, technically nobody put it on the bust. So then was it the dude that was wearing it at the time? Is that what they're trying to get at? Apparently. But then again, my logic could have... Oh my god. So they were going like real specific. Fine, whatever. Fool! Him? You were saying it was the victim himself? Russell Berry? That's what I'm saying. The victim himself placed the cloak on the bust. Placed the cloak isn't really the right way of putting it. What would be the right way of putting it, Mr. Wright? Explain yourself! Nick, do you really have a handle on all of this? I'm fine, Maya. I'm finally putting all the pieces together. It's really only one picture I can paint anyways. Alright, so you want to know what really happened that night? Let's step back in time. Acro used a rope to lower the wooden box onto the scene. Then he attached that rope to the bust and dangled the bust out of his bedroom window directly above the wooden box. At the same time, the ringmaster told Max to wait in his room and went to the scene. Of course, at the time, the ringmaster was wearing Max's costume. Why was he wearing that? Whatever. Perhaps he didn't want anyone to recognize him that night. But just as he feared, he was spotted at the entrance of the lodging house by none other than the ventriloquist and his puppet, Ben and Trillo. When the ringmaster arrived at the scene, he bent over to lift the wooden box. And that's when Acro took his chance and released the rope. Now, this is when the magic happens. At the very instant that the bust hit the victim, you wait just a second there, Mr. Phoenix Wright. As much as you try, as much as you scheme, this just isn't true. It can't be. It's still a little early to be getting so upset, Miss Von Karma. This circus isn't over yet. Eh? With the shock of impact, it threw up the cloak and it got snagged onto the bust. That's when the sound was heard by a witness and he took a look out of his window. That witness was, of course, Lawrence Moe Curls. Oh wow, they actually do manage to fit all three of them into that. Larry, Moe, and Curly, okay. Well, Larry isn't short for Lawrence, but whatever. When Moe looked out his window, the cloak had already snagged onto the bust. Now, having completed the crime, Acro naturally went about pulling up the murder weapon. Of course, he had no idea that Moe saw the bust being raised with the cloak dangling on it. Primarily because, in his wheelchair, he couldn't see out of his window. But then if that didn't happen, Moe would have seen the bust. He would have seen a floating bust. And none of this would be happening. The trial would have been over. Because they would have just been like, okay, well, who's the only person that could have possibly, been, pulling up a bust? Oh, Acro. So he just kept pulling the bust up. Acro did not think this through. And that's how the magical murderer disappearing into the sky came to be. Now you know how the murder actually took place. And now you know who was able to drop the murder weapon from above the scene. Acro. It can only have been you. Acro's been playing mind games with all of us. He sure has. But he has come to the end of his rope now. So, what now? You've graced us with a rather long-winded tale. But do you have any evidence to prove that your fairy tale is true? Evidence? In this court, only two things matter. The power of evidence and the power of my whip. Don't forget the power of my gavel as well. Mr. Wright, the prosecution brings up a good point. Can we see some evidence? Nick, they say they want evidence. This explains how there can only be one possible murder method. But there is still something unusual about Moe's eyewitness account. Unusual? A contradiction, actually. Okay, then use that and get out of this jam. What's the contradiction? That's enough talking amongst yourselves. Proceed, Mr. Wright. Present some evidence to the court that backs your claims. Yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and do a little of this right here. Alrighty. I want hard proof that you have unraveled the trick to this magic case. That's tied to Moe's account? Okay, taking a shot in the dark here. This note. Nope. Well, darn. Okay, then. I don't know. What is the proof? Okay, yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to think on... I don't get it. And I'm glad I did that safety save, because I'm not about to go through all that mess again. I mean, granted, it would allow me to get back here with more health, but... Okay, why is the hat... What? Like, okay, full disclosure, I, had to go to the title screen and then back here a couple times because I was just, picking stuff that seemed to make sense. But apparently it's the hat that unravels this whole thing. Why? Why? Enlighten me. Enlighten me, game. Problem is Max's 3 symbols. You know, the silk hat, the cloak, and the white roses. Those symbols were a problem numerous times during yesterday's proceedings. Yesterday there were 2 contradictions in Moe's testimony. The silk hat was one, the white roses were the other. But the theory I just presented explains all of these contradictions. You fool, do you ever shut up? Max's silk hat was found at the scene of the crime. Really? You're using... Oh my god. That's not hard evidence, though. That's just... explaining a possible contradiction! Okay, I know they're gonna say, the bust has a hat similar to his, but... that's not hard evidence! Okay, whatever. I'll just go with the flow. Remember what Moe said yesterday. He testified that the criminal he saw fleeing the scene was wearing a silk hat. There's only one explanation for that. The silk hat that Moe saw was actually the bust. This is the theory I had, way back at the beginning of all this mess, but how he got there, I'm just a little, just a little not too happy about. Makes sense if you look at it that way, and he did see the silk hat. Well, sort of. Objection. Fine, you've got one. What about the other contradiction? The other contradiction? Remember what that ventriloquist said in court. He said that he witnessed white roses on Max's chest that night. But the clown's testimony doesn't match. The clown said that there were no white roses. I'd like to see you try and explain that one away. Can you do it, Nick? Of course, I can explain all of it. What was that? Please recall the instant when the cloak snagged onto the bust. If the cloak snagged onto the bust, what happened to the white roses? Yeah, sure, whatever. Do you get it yet? If the cloak got snagged onto the front of the bust, it means that the white roses would end up on the back of the bust. Which explains why Mo didn't see it. The white roses were not visible because they were on the back side of the bust. Order! Order! This is quite the shocking state of affairs. Mr. Wright's theory still sounds a bit absurd to me. However, let's just keep going down this road for a while and see where it leads. Let's do this, Nick, and maybe Von Karma will finally throw in the towel. Yeah, they're both calm. Because now they're about to try and get into, like, well, what was the motive? Like, well, so much for that theory. Mr. Wright, do you mind? What is it? You took the time to research our circus, didn't you? Well, yes, I did. Is there something making you think that I didn't? If you did, then maybe you'll understand why I think you're off track. Why is that? Motive. Yep, alright, and then I know the motive. Like, he didn't mean to kill him. He wanted to kill Regina. This witness feels an incredible depth of gratitude towards the ringmaster. Anyone with any relation to the circus is well aware of this. Thus, there is absolutely no way someone like this would kill the ringmaster. Your Honor, I'd like you to hear Acro's story. Learn about his relationship with the ringmaster and his life up until now. What do we do? There's no doubting that Acro deeply respected the ringmaster. Acro's motive. It seems that this case isn't over yet. Very well. However, I feel this is a good place to take a break. I will listen to the rest of Mr. Dingling's testimony after recess. This court will now take a 10-minute recess. To be continued. Yeah, okay, I think I know how this is going to pan out. And we'll get to it next time. So, thank you all for watching. Have a great day. See you next time for some more Let's Play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Justice for All. Goodbye.